Welcome back to Are You Smarter Than a Libertarian? I'm your host, Jeff. And now, little housekeeping. Before we dive in, make sure you hit that subscribe button right now. Whether you're on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeart Radio, or Rumble, subscribing helps us grow and make sure you never miss an episode where we cut through the political noise and get to the truth. Now, all right, let's get into it. Today, we are talking about Hans-Hermann Hoppe and his book, Democracy, The God That Failed. But before we break down the key themes of the book, let's talk a little of who Hoppe is and why his ideas matter to libertarianism as well as the wider society. Hans Hermann Hoppe was born September 2nd, 1949, in Kiel, West Germany. He grew up in post war Germany and studied philosophy at Goethe University Frankfurt under Jürgen Habermas, one of the most famous European philosophers of the 20th century. Hoppe earned his PhD in philosophy there and later completed a habilitation in the foundation of sociology, and economics. He even spent time in the United States as a postdoctoral fellow at the University of Michigan before making the move across the Atlantic more permanently. So he's a pretty cool dude when you actually start to get into his work. In 1986, Hoppe joined the University of Nevada, Las Vegas, where he taught economics until his retirement in 2008. During that time, he became closely tied to the Ludwig von Mises Institute, where he worked with Maury Rothbard and built a reputation as a leading libertarian thinker. In 2006, he founded the Prosperity and Freedom Society in Bodrum, Turkey, a group that brings together libertarians and conservatives from around the world. I might actually want to go there when they have another meeting because I think it would be fun. Hoppe is best known for his critique of democracy and his push for a natural order based on private property rights. His most influential book is Democracy, The God That Failed, published in 2001. In it, he argues that democracy is not the endpoint of freedom, but a system that accelerates societal decline. Now, you're going to clutch your pearls, but just hear him out. So, what does he mean by that? He points to what he calls decivilization. Under democracy, politicians are temporary caretakers of power. They do not own the government, they rent it. That means they have every incentive to grab as much as they can, as fast as they can, before the next person takes over. The result is short term thinking, high taxes, and endless regulations, exploding debt, and a culture that gets weaker over time. To explain this, Hoppe uses the economic concept of time preference. Do you value today more than tomorrow? Democracies run on a high time preference. Politicians think in short election cycles, so they spend recklessly, promise welfare benefits, and push problems into the future. Eventually, society pays the price. Wow, look at the world around us. That's what we're getting into. Here is where Hoppe makes one of his most controversial points, but we have to look at this objectively from logic. He argues that monarchy, while still flawed, was in some ways, not always, but some ways better. A monarchy treats the state as inherited property, so he has lower time preference. He wants to preserve wealth for his heirs, which means lower taxes, less reckless spending, and more long term stability. It's still not ideal, but it's less destructive than the cycle of democracy. Of course, Hoppe does not stop there. He says both monarchy and democracy are inferior to what he calls a natural order, or private property anarchism. No taxation, no state monopoly on force. Instead, law, defense, and security would be provided by private, voluntary institutions such as competing insurers, arbitration firms, and communities free to govern themselves however they choose. Hoppe also champions the idea of secession. Don't clutch your pearls again. Breaking larger states into smaller, self governing regions. He argues that this is not only practical, but inevitable. He calls for libertarians and anti statist conservatives to work together against the false promise of limited government, which he sees as possible to maintain. And it is true. Even people that want limited government will still go and try to get more power for themselves. Hoppe has published other major works, including a theory of socialism and capitalism and the economic and ethics of private property. He developed something called argumentation ethics, an attempt to provide an potpourri justification or a priori justification for libertarian principles, influenced by Rothbard and the Austrian School of Economics. His work has been recognized with awards like the Gary G. Charlbaum Prize and the Franz Kuhl Memorial Prize. At the same time, Hoppe's career has not been without controversy. In 2004, he was investigated by UNLV after remarks about time preference and certain groups of people, sparking a debate over academic freedom. His Property and Freedom Society conference have also drawn criticism for including speakers associated with far-right movements. Today, Hoppe lives in Turkey with his wife, and he remains one of the most influential and polarizing figures in libertarian circles. Whether you agree with him or not, his work forces us to rethink what we believe about democracy, freedom, and the state itself. So, here's the bottom line to all this. Hoppe's message is blunt. Democracy promises liberty, but it delivers dependency, control, and decline. If we want to move forward as a truly civilized society, the way out is not through another election cycle, it is through private property, voluntary cooperation, and reclaiming the freedom the state has taken from us. So, what do you think? Is Hoppe right that democracy is the god that failed, or is he swinging too hard against a system most people still see as progress, which I personally believe is a delusion that we see democracy as progress? It's just mob rule. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure you subscribe. New episodes and shorts drop daily on YouTube and Rumble and TikTok. So wherever you are listening, we are there. For full breakdowns, that is Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeart Radio. And as always, stay free, stay informed, and stay accountable.